My body ached for him, and I realized I had been starving for this kind of attention, this kind of desire. He kissed me harder, more desperately now. I didn't mean to fall for him. I had already done the hard part of life, raising my son, watching him grow into someone I was proud of. All those years of single parenting, never once straying from the path. And then, one evening, Noah, my 22-year-old son, brought home his best friend, Jake. Jake was young, full of energy, like a fireball, the type who walked into a room and made everything feel alive. But I didn't expect him to change my world. He'd been in and out of our lives for years, coming over for football games, dinners, hanging around after school. But this summer, things were different. His presence lingered in the corners of my mind, refusing to be ignored. The subtle way he'd glance at me when he thought no one was looking. Those little moments that became bigger than they should have been. I tried to convince myself it was just a passing thing. He was my son's best friend, a kid I had known since he was a teenager. But sometimes, you can't control what your body feels. You just can't. And I could feel him even when he wasn't near. It started innocently enough. Jake, helping me in the garden, lifting heavy boxes while Noah was out with friends. He'd always been helpful like that, but this time there was an electric charge in the air. Something changed. We were alone in the kitchen one night after I had asked him to stay behind and help me clean up. The lights were dim, the warmth of the evening seeping through the windows, making the air thick and heavy. His laugh, his voice, his presence. It was like they were pulling at me in ways I didn't want. "Need help with that?" he asked, his voice dropping lower than usual as he reached across the counter, brushing his hand lightly against mine. It wasn't an accident. I knew it. He knew it. I swallowed hard, not daring to look up. "I'm fine," I said, but it was a lie. I wasn't fine. The room grew smaller, quieter. Every breath felt too loud, too heavy. I couldn't focus on the dishes. I couldn't focus on anything but the space between us. I could feel the pull of his energy, his youth, his strength. It was magnetic. "I don't think you're fine," he said, and for a second it sounded like he was speaking to my soul. His hand lingered near mine, like he was waiting for me to make a move, to acknowledge the tension that had been building between us all this time. I forced myself to focus, pushing thoughts of his hand away from my mind. He's just Noah's best friend, I told myself. Just Noah's best friend. But my body betrayed me. Later that evening, Noah went out with his friends. I should have gone to bed, should have done something productive, but I couldn't seem to shake the way Jake's presence had wrapped itself around me. I was sitting in the living room, staring at nothing, when I heard the sound of footsteps. Jake. He stood in the doorway, leaning against it, eyes watching me like a predator circling its prey. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. "You look lost in thought," he said, his voice soft yet commanding. His gaze was steady, almost too intense, as if he was seeing something in me I didn't want him to see. "I'm fine," I repeated, but this time there was no conviction in my voice. I wasn't fine. I wasn't even close. Jake stepped into the room, closing the distance between us with slow, deliberate steps. Each movement he made seemed to echo in the silence, and every breath I took felt too heavy. He stopped right in front of me, so close that I could feel the heat radiating from his body. Before I could process what was happening, his fingers grazed my chin, tilting my face up to meet his. His thumb brushed over my lips, and I couldn't pull away. I didn't want to pull away. "What's wrong?" he asked, but I knew, he knew, there was nothing left to say. And then he kissed me. The kiss was slow at first, as if we were both testing the waters, unsure of the depth of the water we were about to dive into. But then it deepened. The kiss became urgent, desperate, as if everything we had been ignoring for months now rushed to the surface in a single moment. His hands moved, sliding to the small of my back, pulling me closer, pressing me against him. My body responded instinctively, my hands threading into his hair, pulling him even closer, as if there was nothing else that mattered. And that's when the walls came down. He pushed me back against the wall, his lips never leaving mine, and for a moment, I forgot everything. Forgot about Noah, about what was right and wrong, about everything I had known before this. His hands slid down my body, caressing the curves I had forgotten, was still capable of making someone's touch feel like fire. Every kiss felt like it was pushing us further, deeper into something we couldn't control. The weight of the moment settled in, thick and heavy, but I couldn't care. My body ached for him, and I realized I had been starving for this kind of attention, this kind of desire. He kissed me harder, more desperately now. His lips moved down my neck, and I gasped, the sensation of his touch sending a shiver down my spine. He stopped for just a second, looking at me, searching for something in my eyes. "You're sure?" he whispered. There was no more hesitation, no more self-doubt. I couldn't lie to him, not anymore. I nodded, my voice trembling as I whispered, "I'm sure." The kiss didn't stop. Not then. Not until the world outside felt like it had disappeared. When it was over, the room was quiet again, the weight of what had happened between us heavy in the air. I didn't know where this would go. I didn't know if I was ready to face the consequences of what we'd just done. But I knew one thing for sure. My life was never going to be the same. Not after tonight. I had crossed a line I hadn't even realized I'd been standing on. And I knew, no matter how much I tried to deny it, that I would never be able to forget the heat of his kiss, the taste of him on my lips. And maybe I didn't want to.